Alrighty, here's a video for you BMW X5 owners with the 35D, the diesel motor. We had one of these come into the shop and needs an alternator, and there was a frustrating lack of information online about how to change the alternator on one of these. So I kind of used ProDemand and I used my resources, and there was just some tricks to figure out from there. So I figured I'd make this video really quick. Not usually my thing, making informational videos like this, but it was frustrating enough to me that I feel as if this could be helpful to somebody. So this is the twin power turbo diesel motor that comes in the 2015 BMW X5. And, sorry, there's some quirks about doing this alternator that just made it a frustrating project. And the first thing is, no matter how bad you're going to want to fight it, you certainly will be taking out your fan here. Quick tip for the fan. Well, first you take off your strut bar that goes across here. It's two, I believe, 13 millimeters. Quick tip for your fan. Grab a flashlight. There's these latches here that hold the fan in, and essentially you just press this tab down and you can pull your fan up, and you don't have to take this radiator hose off. The tab on the fan, let's see if I can't find it on this one. Yeah, there it is. Nope, other side. Nope, other side. Wherever it might be. Huh, no. There it is. The tab that locks into that actually folds in like that, right? So when you need it, you click it out and it's folded out to use. But when you're removing the fan, you can just fold that tab in. It makes it so you can pull your fan straight up the top. Still a hassle, and you got to unclip these lines from it. However, it does make the job doable, freeing up that space in there. I currently have the alternator out and just wanted to make this video while I had everything taken apart mostly so that you could see what's going on. The first thing after you get the fan out, you're going to need to take this intake horn off. It's right there, and it mates up to your EGR cooler right there. So you're going to have two bolts on your EGR cooler. You're going to have three of these kind of reverse Torx bolts down here. 1, 2, 3. And then you're going to have three bolts on this flange mating up to the intake manifold. And mine's nasty. Sorry everyone, I'm just getting over COVID, so that's why my voice is shot. But that bottom bolt is a pain. The way I was able to get it was with a 1/4 inch drive, deep socket, and a 3-inch extension with a swivel head on it. You can kind of go underneath here and get back up into that bottom one in there. So that's a pain. Don't tear it off without taking that bottom one off, although tempting. Next thing you're going to want to do is remove your belt. And you can tackle the belt tensioner and the belt kind of 2 in 1. The belt tensioner, let me see if I can't find it for you. Right, here's the belt tensioner, and funky little guy. It's a spring-loaded tensioner here, and it's got two, I believe these are T50 Torx bits holding it in. You're not going to be able to do this project without taking the belt tensioner off. I tried. You cannot access the correct bolts on the alternator with it on. So that belt tensioner, get my flashlight back, sits right in here. You'll see it. Mounts there and there. Or sorry, it's down there. So you're going to have to take that belt tensioner off. And once you do that, you'll have much better access. I struggled for a long time trying to figure out how to try to do it with the belt tensioner on. A trick for taking the belt tensioner off, BMW has a tool for it, but an Allen key works just as good. Tighten the tensioner on the car before you break these bolts loose. And align up your Allen key. There's kind of a pinhole that it lines through, and that makes it so that you can keep your tensioner back to where you can get to this bolt on the tensioner to take it off. So once you have your tensioner off, there is a few connectors that I recommend taking off that made my life easier. This sensor here, it looks like a coolant line headed to the EGR control throttle body deal. This sensor here made my life easier taking it off, as well as the connector to that throttle plate. You're gonna have two main connections on your alternator. This is one of them. I was able to just pinch the tab and pull it off. And then your other connection is your 12mm bolt that's connected. I have everything tucked out of the way right now. It's connected here to this one, as well as this one here goes over the top and sits on it. So you have those two connections on your 12mm bolt, and then you have this connection. Then I just pushed all those other connections out of the way. I highly recommend this coolant hose here. It's just a pull the metal tab out and detach the hose. That made it so I actually had room to pull my alternator out right here. So kind of a hassle of a job for an alternator, and kind of an expensive alternator, but when it's what the car needs, that's what we got. So far that's where I'm at. I believe that's all the tips and tricks you need. I used, instead of the BMW special tool, I used, I believe, a 16mm on that belt tensioner. Fit pretty good, did the job. You're not going to have a blast doing this job, but it is doable, and it makes me want to look into an EGR delete for this thing. So I will cut to an update when I have the car done, and we'll just double check everything's in securely and see how it looks. I also do just want to make note on this alternator, the top bolt here is the shorter one. They're both whatever you call the inverse Torx bits. And the bottom one is the longer one. And those are the only two bolts that actually mount the alternator to this vehicle. Alrighty, just got completed on this BMW. You can't even see where that alternator is, but went pretty smoothly going back in. No major issues there. Pulling up our scan tool just to verify. We're charging at almost 15 volts. That's perfect. Before we were getting right at about 13.4, 13.5 maybe when we were lucky. And that just does not cut it for this vehicle. So that's a complete alternator replacement. I will try to see if I can't link in a picture of the belt routing. Really not as bad on reassembly as disassembly, if you know where everything is. So this was your 2015 BMW X5 alternator replacement video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.